In order to become a more efficient shooter and a more knowledgeable shooter, to get to a point where shooting just comes easy to you and it feels like second nature, you have to change the way you understand shooting. And the way that you understand shooting now, if you're not a shooter, is the main reason that you cannot shoot that well. You probably have all the physical tools. There's probably nothing wrong with your legs, your arms, your back, your hands, nothing. Nothing wrong with them. So the only culprit that's left is your understanding of how to shoot. And this deep dive, prior to getting into the main meat of my video course, is this right here. And this is a deep dive into shooting path. And because I want you to understand shooting path so that the act of shooting hopefully is a lot easier for you to understand. Many of you are probably like me, you're visual. You got to see it. I could tell you all day long how to shoot, how to do this, how to do that. But you have to see it. And it's got to be more than me just picking up a basketball and shooting it. You need the nuts and bolts. You need the fine details. That's what I'm going to give you in this small presentation. Now, as you can see with the diagram or with the image that I have in front of you, there are some points on here. There's a point A, which is where the shooter is. That would be you with the basketball. There's point B. That's illustrating one path that you would put the basketball on. And you've got point C, which is another flight or another path that the ball will be on. So you have from A to B, and then you have from A to C. Okay, let me explain something to you about these points. Point A is where you prepare your shot. You generate your upward force with your upper and lower body working together in sync. That force will be used to send your shot toward point B or toward the basket. Path A to C is a flat shot. Your coach has probably told you, or you've heard it from someone say that your shot is flat. You're pushing the basketball. You're throwing it. You're just tossing it up there. Well, when you do those things, a lot of times you'll see kids that don't have the power to get the basketball up there, and that's only because they don't have good shot mechanics. And even teenage kids, I've seen adults as well do this too, because they don't have good shot mechanics. They don't understand where their power comes from, how they can set up for their shot. They don't understand those things, so they just go for broke, and they just go and throw the ball or shoot the ball or whatever you want to call it from point A to point C. And when you shoot on that path from A to C, the shot is flat because it's low, it comes in hard, and it comes in, it's either going to hit the front of the rim or the back of the rim or the backboard. But the area that you're aiming for, the place where you want to get the basketball to make the result of all your efforts a made shot, are the middle of the rim. That's where you really and truly want to get the basketball. And this is for jump shooting. Whether you're shooting mid-range, whether you're shooting free throws, whether you're shooting three-pointers, that's where you want to get the basketball. You want to be able to put it as close to the middle of the rim as possible, because now you have a lot more room to work with. But path A to C is just, sometimes they even call it a knuckleball, because you're just shooting it right at the rim. You got to understand something. You're always going to be shorter than the rim. Rim's always going to be taller than you, so you're always going to be shooting up. But if you just shoot up and try to just shoot directly into the rim, you're going to have a very low shot percentage. Your efficiency is going to be very, very low. A lot of the Pee-wee kids shoot that way, but many of them don't know form shooting. I firmly believe that you can teach any kid form shooting, but different people have different approaches to that, and that's okay. But I believe that as soon as you're able to pick up that basketball, we need to be looking at form shooting, because especially if it can be explained and made easy to understand. Now, path A to B, that's where you want your shot because you have a high release with arc. And path A to B allows the ball time to slow down as it approaches the rim. Because you think about it, you've already sent the ball forward. You've sent it forward. So the ball is going to continue to travel forward until it runs out of power, until it loses all the power that you put on the basketball. And as it continues to travel forward, it starts to fall. And where does it fall? If everything's done correctly, it falls into the rim. The green section is what great shooters like Steph Curry have mastered. He knows that his job as a shooter is to simply get the ball from A to B. You're not going to see Steph Curry shoot from A to C. He shoots from A to B. Because once you get the ball from A to B, gravity will take care of the rest and carry the ball from B to C. Because remember, it's already higher than the rim. So as it starts to fall, it's already in a good position as long as you've gotten the right amount of power on your shot. And we'll go into those things in the later lectures. But as long as you have at least gotten the ball there, you're on a good path to making more shots. And but I mean, this is what I've begun to this explanation is what I've begun to utilize when it comes to my shooting clinics. You know, I used to introduce myself to the parents and the kids and everybody get a basketball and I show them something and they try it and I show them something and some might get it, some may not, but nobody ever really fully grasped the concept until maybe close to the end. And I feel like it's better if I just sit everyone down and explain this concept to them so that they can really and truly visualize the flight of the basketball. Because if you can understand shooting path, when I start teaching you how to get your power on your shot and where to place the basketball and how to set up, all of that makes more sense because you have a visual to go by instead of just trying to visualize what you already know, because what you already know is something that we've got to get rid of because that's not going to work going forward if you want to become a more efficient shooter. I hope that's helped. I'll see you in the later lessons.